the actual driving force, the actual engine that turns your interpretation of reality into a negative reality. And by a negative reality, I mean interpreting your entire reality into people being against you, interpreting every person as someone who is after you. It's so complicated. However, I will do my best to explain it to you in the best way possible. So, the only reason that my reality is now coming back to normal is because I understood the mechanism by which this engine functions. And you are about to learn it now. This is the most sacred information. Whoa. Yeah, the secret that makes people believe they're getting followed by everyone. This engine has the power to make your imagination run so wildly that it replaces some of the frames of your life with imaginative perceptions of reality. If you believe that there is a ghost, your imagination will actually start replacing parts of reality, of your vision, with something that resembles reality. However, what you believe, what you are being suggested subconsciously by the engine, is what is going to be manifested in your reality through this engine. Are you ready? Here you go. You should be aware of is that reality in itself is positive. There is no negativity in reality. You should never, well, it is abnormal for you to interpret something as being antagonistic to you. Now, the antagonization of something is caused primarily by the absolute negative emotional state of the body, which is shame. Or I think that also anger is part of it. I am unsure of which one is the most absolute. However, I am sure that both of them are one side of the same coin. Now, the other absolute would be pleasure. There is no such thing as negative pleasure. If you are feeling pleasure, even from someone who you don't like, the pleasure is still good. So the pleasure is an absolute in the state of positiveness. Now, these two are the primary driving forces of gang stalking, which are accompanied by the absolute confirmation and negation of the subconscious. Subconscious negation, it is extremely simple. It is either a nodding of the head as yes, that is the absolute yes to your subconscious, and a nodding as a no, that is the absolute negative in the subconscious. Now, there is a process by which the pleasure and the nodding of the yes are tied together. And that is by having the target say yes and nod their head as yes during a sensation of pleasure, which typically involves sex. So the nodding of the head and the sensation of pleasure are tied together that way. Now, the other part of the gang stalking engine, it is the tying of shame to the nod that says no. I have a theory on how this is put together. Initially, the gang stalking engineered situations, these are produced by shameful acts that one commits. During the time that I was getting gang stalked, I did commit a lot of things that I am ashamed of. I'm not gonna lie. However, Um, these happened because of previous traumas that I had. It wasn't because I am an intentionally, um, I guess, not egoistical or I'm not a deviant person. But I'm not gonna lie, I committed some deviant acts that were not, that I didn't mean to do, that I would have not done if it was not because of the state of mind that I was in at that time. Now, um, during the gang stalking shameful experiences, and there's typically a symbol. As you might know, in my case, it has been the water bottles, the car door slams, all of those things. Now, there are going to be situations where every time when you nod as your head as no, you're going to be presented with either a sound or you're going to be presented with an object that actually brings up the memories of shame and the memories of and or anger. Now that's how these are tied together. You are when every time you nod your head this way, you are presented with the word or the color, anything that has perpetuated a negative emotion or any type of negative emotion, be it anger or shame. It is primarily a shame-driven operation, though, or at least in my case, the shame was the one emotion that was the primary driving factor, from my operation. Now, so now we have the two parts of the engine. We have the part that is the confirmation of the yes that tells the subconscious mind yes, and which is tied to pleasure. So yes to pleasurable things. And then there is the no to shameful acts. So yes and no. Now the no is tied to this, and the shameful act is tied to the physiological sensation of shame. These two are tied together. Now, the two pieces of the engine are put together by adding another step, which would be as soon as you nod. So remember, now every time you nod yes, you are feeling, you're subconsciously telling yourself yes, and you are feeling pleasure at the same time. All right? So immediately when you say yes, you feel pleasure. So keep that in mind. Now, when you nod your head as a no, you feel shame. You literally feel shame. So now, so these are completely driving forces, right? That are opposite. So this is yes, and this is no. This is pleasure, and this is shame. So now there is the tying in factor, and the tying in factor is done whenever the target says yes or no. For example, when the target says no, it is when they feel shame. So typically, when the target nods their head like that, the target will be presented. No, wait. It's the other way around. I'm sorry. So there's going to be a yes. Yes brings pleasure to the target, right? So now the pleasure to the target, it immediately as the target says yes, a symbol, a reminder of a shameful experience will be imposed on the target. In my case, it was a lot of like water bottles and like slams of like of count on the counter, after a word that brought a negative experience onto me. In the beginning, it will actually bring up a negative memory. So in the beginning, I was able to, every time I felt the shame, it would literally pull up a visual image of the negative experience. Now what happens is that whenever you say yes, as soon as you feel the pleasure, boom, the shameful reminder is brought up to you. When the shameful act is brought up to you, then the subconscious mind will register it as a no, which is an absolute negative and a negation. So now this is how the engine works. You say yes, the yes is confirmed subconsciously as a yes, but then that same thought is brought up down to the pleasure. Then the pleasure is a yes, this is good, but then that same thought is bounced right onto shame. So the shame is, it pulls the shame and then it goes back into the consciousness and you get a no. So yes turns into no, and pleasure turns into something shameful. So the result of this engine, it is that whenever you say, you would tell yourself, yes, I look good. So yes is that yes, I look good. And the looking good will turn into, well, the thought will become its antagonistic opposite, which a yes, I look good will turn into a you look like shit thought. So your reality that you perceive will actually say, yes, I look good. However, subconsciously, you are registering that thought as a I look like shit, or you look like shit, I'm sorry, as a you look like shit. So your subconscious mind is reinterpreting what you say as an antagonistic opposite. Which is why the result of this is that everything, reality, will literally be turned around into an insult. Everything will be turned against you. That is exactly the gang stalking engine. Anything that your reality will literally turn antagonistic. And if, let's say, that there's a word, it's if someone makes you feel shame with like a word or whatever, what happens is that the shameful word will end up, well, let me see. Give me 1 second. So let's say that you think, I hate drugs. Let's say it like that. So if you have a thought, I hate drugs, it's going to turn, the hate is a negative, right? So that means, so the I hate drugs will turn into a you, and the hate will turn into love. So the I hate drugs will come, you will say I hate drugs, or I do not want to do drugs again. And your subconscious will register it as a you're a drug addict. It will register it. It will register a, oh, I need to make that stop sign, as a, go ahead, skip the stop sign. You will literally interpret your reality as a negative, which this in itself has explained to me that this is not, absolutely not, a drug treatment. It's not. Because no drug treatment will turn your subconscious mind against you. No drug treatment. If you are in a drug rehab center, what's going to happen? You can do this. You can stop. You have the power. You have all power. But this switching of this modus operandi of gang stalking that antagonizes your reality against you, what it's going to do is that it's actually going to make you into more of a drug addict. It will make you more of what you don't want. If you say, I do not want to catch any STD, guess what? You're going to get filled with STDs because you are subconsciously telling yourself that you want more of those things. Now, this same engine is what tells gang stalkers when you feel shame. This same engine is meant to literally fuck you. By people who know the words. So you will notice that a lot of people are going to make you say yes. Why? Because whenever you say yes, you get F in the A. You receive sexual pleasure. I literally felt something right up there. And something right there whenever I nod my head. Right now, it's actually going away. But I actually had to leave San Diego. because it was so intense. Now, that's the first thing, is that you are literally, everyone around you is effing you. Literally. And psychologically. And subconsciously. You're getting effed in every single way. So now, when someone makes you say yes, guess what? You say yes, you get sexual pleasure. Which is why people who get gang stalked typically become sexual deviants. Because you are getting sexually stimulated every time you say yes and every time you say no. That's the truth. Now, gang stalkers know that they have hit a chord, that they have hit a shameful word or a shameful object, because targets don't know this. But whenever someone says something that makes you feel shame, you're gonna nod as a no, one way or the other. Remember, the shameful acts are tied in to the negation. So whenever you hear something that hit a chord, you will do a slight movement like that, to the left or to the right. That's how gang stalkers know that they have said a shameful act, a shameful word, letter, object. That's why you feel observed all the time, because they're looking to see what is the thing that makes you go like that. The thing that makes you look away. That's why targets look away. Because it makes you feel shame and you look away. Looking away is the sign that you give gang stalkers that they have done something that makes you feel shame. It's a looking away, one way or the other. And guess what? Even with shame, they're still effing you. Because shame and pleasure are in one engine. So you feel shame and then you get effed. Literally. And psychologically. Now, most targets die. At least the ones that have lasted this long. Now, I want to tell you that during this whole operation, right? What gets the engine going is a lot of confirming yeses and a lot of negating nos. So you are going to be feeling like your head is going like that, almost spiritually. And the thing is that this engine can be connected to the heart, which is why whenever you use drugs, it pumps harder. Because if it's connected to your heart, your blood pumps faster, and then guess what? The blood gets the pleasure going, it gets the shame going, it gets this going, it gets this going. So that's why it goes in with the I love drugs, and with the using drugs will get you turned on. Because whenever you use drugs, your heart rate will go up. And guess what? Whenever your heart rate goes up, the thought of the sexual stimulation is going to bring up the thought that that was converted against your will from I hate drugs to you're a drug addict. And your subconscious is going to read that instead of the I hate drugs. And once that happens, boom, you are going to be in escape. You're going to be unable to escape from your own sexual drive. So if you're a target and you have been sexually active, you need to stop. Like as soon as you find this information. Because from there, once the engine is built, you are in for a treat. So the negative and the pleasure and shame and anger are diametric opposites of emotion. One is an absolute yes, and the other one is an absolute no. Fuck no. The worst of the worst, and an anger. So it's a no. Absolute. There's no in between. It's an absolute no. So now, these, climaxing or sexual pleasure and anger and shame are absolutes. So guess what? These increase the activity of your subconscious mind. So your subconscious mind is literally incredibly active, which makes you incredibly successful to hallucinations, auditory or visual. With time, during the building of this engine, there are two other aspects of conditioning that are taking place. Your ability to record movements, we're going to talk about that in another video, but that's the part that takes the longest in the training. This one takes 2 years. It is the part of the gang stalking that actually enables people to play with you, gang stalkers to play with you. At least, So I'm still unsure about this, but that is what happened to me. When your subconscious mind is active, your ability to record things increases. Your sensitivity to everything, to suggestion, is increased by 1,000%. But also your imagination, also your ability to communicate with your subconscious mind is increased. So when this is going on during your everyday life, the sensitivity to your ears is going to be increased by having people whispering things around you. The whispering is going to be so much that the whispering, what it does is that it makes your ears vibrate. And whatever it is that you hear is gonna go straight to your subconscious mind. So gang stalking changes I'm gonna tell you how in another video. But right now, the truth is that your subconscious mind is accessible through your sub-vocalization. Now, you're going to be whispered so much that anything that goes in is going to go straight into your subconscious mind. So someone can say, "You're a faggot," and your ears will, since your subconscious is open, your ears will memorize. It will start memorizing with repetition, the vibration, and they will know the sound, or the thought that it's supposed to create. So during this time, if you're live talking, if you're talking, you're gonna hear whispers, "Shut up." with a shut up, you're gonna feel shame. There's gonna be a cue, a slam that brings, or a symbol that brings you the shame. Or whenever you're talking to yourself out loud, or however, you're gonna feel shame, and then you're gonna interpret the thought that was here. It's gonna go through all your senses, and it's gonna be interpreted into the antagonistic opposite. So if you pay attention to someone saying, "Oh, I love your voice," and you take that in, "I love your voice," is gonna turn as that, "Oh, your voice is fucking awful." That's exactly what's gonna happen. The "what the fuck" was something that for some reason it was always consistent. I think that is because there is no negative or opposite connotation on it. There's no opposite antagonistic. It is both. It is a "what the fuck" that you can say, and it's a "what the fuck" that someone can say to something that you do. Now, because of this, give me one second. Now, whenever your ears will have become so sensitive to sounds that anything that you hear will go through the same gang stalking engine, and it will turn everything into an opposing negative. So this also applies to the things that you see. For example, if you look at someone and they get mad, and they show like a anger when they look at your teeth, you can think, "Oh, he's jealous because of my teeth." However, you are going to vocalize, "He wants my teeth to get fucked up," or "They want my teeth to get fucked up." They. So this is where the "they" takes in place. The word "they" is the primary, is one of the main pieces of the gang stalking situation. And that is because the word "they," you believe that they is everyone. Everyone around you is a gang stalker, right? However, the thoughts in your head that are supposed to be yours, that have been turned against you, are gonna be popping up, and instead of and the they want me to whatever. So instead of, "Oh, I look good," or you're gonna think, "Oh, they want me to look like shit." So the they in your subconscious mind, the they becomes your subconscious mind. You are literally turning all your thoughts against you. And because your thoughts are coming up against you, you are going to believe that the thoughts you have are part of the gang stalking operation. Because your own thoughts are going to be perfectly aligned with your belief that everyone around you is against you. Which is exactly why people hear voices. And the thoughts that they have are antagonistic. They will be like, "I never had that thought," and that's true, you didn't. But your body, your physiology, and your senses have been manipulated in such a way that whatever you say is literally turned into an antagonistic opposite. And when that happens, that is when the illusions start. Your subconscious mind is incredibly open and incredibly sensitive. So you're going to hear things. You're going to interpret whispers as whatever it is. If it sounds like, if you feel a vibration of an insult that you heard before, You're gonna interpret that same vibration. It's gonna pretty much come in, and you're gonna interpret the vibration as an insult. Now, anything that you do, anything that grabs your attention, you're gonna have a thought, they're doing it on purpose. So this is one of the primary tools of gang stalking. This is why people start interpreting headlights as antagonistic. Because the evil grin, it's gonna bring it, it's gonna feel like it's negative, right? So the he's doing it on purpose is gonna turn into a they're doing it, they want me to be bothered, or they're doing it on purpose. Now, I'm unsure about how. Oh, yeah. So the headlight, if it bothers your eye slightly, it's gonna bring you a little bit of anger. And guess what? The anger is gonna be tied into the shin. It's gonna bring it all down. And once it's down, it's gonna turn in, and it's gonna go to the engine, and you're gonna be thinking they're doing it on purpose. So I'm still unsure about how the gang stalking grin is translated when it goes to the engine. I'm unsure of that. However, we're gonna go to that in another video. But here, right now, that is the primary running engine of gang stalking. It is the modus operandi. It is what turns your reality against you. Once, to finish off, please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be uploading videos incredibly often. And that is because now I am at my mom's house and I have to get to work. So thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for your patience. Please subscribe, like, and if I have been of help to you, please leave a comment or a follow would be greatly appreciated. So also, I will stop using this emoji, and you and I will be talking to each other. As of a couple of days ago, I have understood the gang stalking engine correctly. Everything about it, I understand. There is so much that I have to tell you. And not only that, but the gang stalking itself gives you some skills that I didn't have before. Notice how my speech is completely different. My speech is not slurred anymore. My voice is changed, and I did not do that purposefully. It is just that my senses are coming back to their normal operating. My body is coming back to homeostasis. Now, thank you for spending all that time with me and listening and allowing me to inform you about this thing that happens to people. But man, I can tell you that this same thing has so much power, and it can allow you to do things with your mind that you were unable to do before. And that's coming next. Not in a video, but in another channel or in another media, but it's coming. I appreciate you guys, and just know that this is the only channel with the truth about gang stalking. And just know that the people, if you're interpreting your reality, as everyone against you, just know that the people who you love believe that whenever you interpret anyone against you, they're going to believe that you're on drugs. And these people were told that you're going to believe that whenever you are using. So even the people who love you will feel antagonistic to you. Those who know, those that know how you're going to act, are gonna, how do you say, don't know that the program itself makes you into a drug addict. So they are under the belief that this is for your own good. But they do not know that the program itself changes your thought of I do not want to use drugs again into an antagonistic thought that tells you you are fucking a drug addict to your subconscious mind. The drug addiction didn't come first. It was part of the entire gang stalking operation. And well, that is the rest of the video for today. Or at least for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.